Should we do? Should we do a moderately funny, also extremely furiously angry political, post-apocalyptic epic to finish?
Yeah.
Then we can all get a beer. Apologies. I haven't really worked a way of going from complete bullshit about MasterChef to making a series of incredibly erudite political points yet, but here we are. Also, this has been slightly undermined by the fact that in 6 weeks' time the Tories will be completely destroyed. So hopefully this will come across as a kind of celebratory recap of the last few years of the political landscape in the UK, rather than the when I wrote a couple of years ago, the incredibly depressing landslide of bullshit that it was at the time. It's called The Hostile Environment, which you may remember was one of, I think, was it Priti Patel, maybe? That was her flagship. Was it Theresa May? Yeah, who decided to try and get rid of anyone who'd arrived here needing help, etc., etc. Obviously, being a poet, I worked out that the hostile environment could also refer to the actual environment. So I'm smart. So a bit of a double meaning there. I know we're supposed to be new to poetry, but I thought I'd just flag that up. So you'll stop that. Obviously, the fact that the whirling will be deep underwater in 50 years' time seems more pressing than flying some people to Rwanda, but here we are. This is extremely long, so feel free to fire up Angry Birds on silent on your phone if you'd like to. The sea is coming. Can you hear it? When there is nobody left to invade, you must ransack your homeland. Return to your shores, wave a flag at the natives, promise progress, soak marrow, reclaim what is rightfully yours. The phone calls are coming from inside the house. The sea is coming. Can you hear it? It's saying, "Hello, I am the sea. And I, your Prime Minister, promise to make this country different." Homeless spikes on every sofa, pigeon spikes on the office toilet, DNAR orders as standard, not just for the elderly, but for everyone. That's the kind of equality we want. Let's embrace the downward urge. I see you all wide-eyed and trusting like babies about to be thrown from a burning building, and if the building isn't burning yet, we can fix that. We cannot promise you a glorious future, but we can promise you a glorious past. We will shit in the ice cream so no one else wants it, and we can have it all. And when I say we, I mean whoever's left. And also, I just mean me and anyone who donated. The hostile environment will take back control and take our country back to its glorious past, reclaim what is rightfully ocean. This wonderful centuries-old Stockholm Syndrome, a proud British institution. You can't call it Stockholm Syndrome anymore, that's unpatriotic. We're allowed to call it Swindon Syndrome now, that's Brexit advantage. This wonderful centuries-old Swindon Syndrome, gaslighting us into self-righteous self-oppression. You can't say that, that's against free speech. And also unpatriotic, probably. Look at your neighbour's driveway. They've got a massive St. George's flag sticker on their wheelie bin. And they bought a limited edition bar of dairy milk with a Union Jack livery on the wrapper. And they don't even like dairy milk. And when the waves come, they'll open the door and welcome in, not make a fuss, unlike you, dangerous Marxist, with your protests and your boats. What do you want? To live? To live, but to oversee an assault on the core values of Western civilization, like our right to slowly drown. No, thank you. I wanted an opinion, so I read a Daily Telegraph think piece, and now I've got an opinion. Thank you very much. The sea is coming. Can you hear it? It's saying, "I'm just at Southend." And now I feel sick. That's the Greg Wallace voice. The greatest fears of the human mind. Number one, a fear of the unknown, which explains why so many people are scared all the time. Number two, a fear of being wrong, so the first lie wins. Number six, new entry, a fear of being cancelled. Even though you can't get cancelled if no one knows who you are, and they don't, because you're a 56-year-old estate agent from Market Harborough. Justin. Number 8, dropping your phone down a drain. Number 9, finding spider eggs. And number 1,498, all inhabitable land disappearing underwater. Yes, we milked dry, bled dry, eviscerated dry Britain, but remember our past, and remember we've made that past seem even more glorious by comparison. Your neighbour has hoisted his St George's wheelie bin up a flagpole. Why don't we be more like him? What do you want, to live? The government bought 60 million St George's flag bin stickers from a pest control company for a very reasonable price. And the ones that turned up and actually work have been distributed to encourage national unity. But you never fought for these borders, you just let the sea do the work. And now the sea is coming. Can you hear it? It's saying, yes, I submerged all of Norfolk, but I am wholly committed to making this country wet. This country, which is rightfully mine. I just swallowed Kent and made the channel 40 miles wider. Let's see those small boats try to cross me now. Progress, progress, progress. Let's move this country forward to the good old days. There will be Union Jack bunting for you people and Ortolan buntings for me. The remaining population of England gathered together on high ground, all quite certain that they will be the ones who survive and that everyone else will be the ones who perish. Do you remember when it was only other people who needed healthcare and then you died? Do you remember when it was only other people who needed the fire brigade and then you died? Do you remember when it was only other people who needed schools and then you had to look after your own children for a bit and you wish you died because nothing exists now except Peppa Pig? Do you remember when the supermarket started paying customers to buy milk to encourage more people to shop with them, and then the farms went bust and stopped producing milk, and you blame the milk shortage on the faceless, unelected, elected bureaucrats in Brussels? Do you remember any of this? Why don't you remember? The race, the bottom, the downward urge, because things could always be worse, you know. They could always be worse and they can never be better. If you'd vote for us, we'll make sure things get worse for other people first. We cannot promise you a future, but we can promise you a glorious past. And while we're at it, would you like to buy a bridge? It's in a prime location and it's covered in plants and it doesn't exist. The race to the bottom, the downward urge. One of the scientists who predicted this whole land plus water equals problem thing appeared on I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. They'd made 2 prior television appearances, thus qualifying as a celebrity, and they needed the fee. And Ant and Dec made them eat ice cream with shit in it until they died. Someone who had been an extra on an advert once won 7 stars for camp by agreeing to live in a sewer for the rest of their life and never see their family again. Several years later, ITV filmed a catch-up documentary to see how they were getting on living in the sewer. They were really miserable. It was great. The audience felt such satisfaction to know that someone, whoever they were, had things much worse than them. The bare minimum has never felt better. The water might be rising or the land might be sinking. The effect is much the same. We never wanted to have to make decisions, you know. We never wanted the ability to make decisions, you know. We never wanted to be able to comprehend the concept of decisions, you know, or the concept of we, or the concept of never, or the concept of concept. We never wanted to evolve this damn prefrontal cortex. We've been trying our best to override it, short-circuit it with alcohol and stories, return to the warm, soggy sofa of prehistory where the right flag or the wrong accent makes a wise spark like salt water on motherboard. At this point, we might expect an intervention from a foreign power, but that's for countries with national resources. All we've got is forced rhubarb and Union Jack merchandise and Mr. Bean and ice cream with shit in it and rivers with shit in them and bridge that doesn't exist. So the only way across is through the shit. And we watch superhero films about benevolent billionaires fighting crime with multifunction AI cyber dildos, and we watch the actual billionaires who've looked so much that people were forced into crime. And then we watch the billionaires disappear into space in rockets powered by the bodies of their former employees who had all been promised Christmas Day off in exchange for being compressed into fuel pellets and nutrition capsules. There wasn't enough land left in Florida to construct a launch pad for Elon Musk's escape shuttle, so he built one on the back of a whale instead. A TikTok science correspondent whose personality was his brightly coloured glasses described it as awesome. Before the seawater lapping around his ankles blew his broadband router, killing him instantly on both physical and existential levels. The heat from the rocket's engines melted the spermaceti into the whale's head like a wax seal and attached the creature to the bottom of the craft. And now every time Elon Musk looks out of his space window, he sees a huge, mournful whale looking back at him. The Earth shrank to nothing as Musk hoped it would, like a blue bottom falling down a drain, but the whale remained, judging him. Probably. It certainly looked impressed. Maybe it was just dead. Resting dead face. Jeff Bezos isn't even out of the solar system yet, but like all of us, half an hour into a long journey, he's been unable to resist starting his packed lunch and has already swallowed 3 delivery drivers sous vide to the size of marrow fat peas. The first driver was formerly Chris Goddard from Wolverhampton, and even though his highly compressed mortal remains will be gradually digested by Jeff for the next 8 days, Chris is still sure that his show of commitment to the company will see him promoted by summer. The sea is coming. Can you see it now? The tide is coming in, but it doesn't go out again. The sea is coming. Can you feel it? The borders are closing around you. The borders you love want to hold you, to take you, to thank you for your vote and for giving them back what is rightfully theirs. The second driver was formerly Matty Jacobs from Retford, and even though the last memory of him will be a small fart produced by Jeff Bezos in just under 24 hours' time, Matty is hopeful that by putting in those extra hours, he'll be able to get on the property ladder and pay his own mortgage rather than someone else's. Only 4 more metres of small intestine to go. The leaders are owners, the state absolute. The invasion completed with zip wires and flags. The third driver was formerly David Knightley from Coventry. Who cares? There's not much to say, probably. Remember when you lay on your front on Folkestone Beach, balls deep in the sand, crying for the first time in your life, but not understanding why, shagging the coast you love so much, and stationary lorries surrounded you like Stonehenge. Right now the border is right outside your door, seeping through the cracks. And the hostile environment will make us go back to where we came from.